Hey everybody, Mark again, Morningside Farmers Market. Today's recipe is going to go up on the website. It's going to be called an African Bullfight featuring Tequila di Toro. It sounds like a B movie, but I had to put something on that so that you can distinguish between this particular African butternut recipe and anything else that can come up going into the fall. Because this just started the harvest for this squash. As you know, it's really hardy. You can have a shelf life on your kitchen counter for as long as 6 months, maybe even longer. So also the Corno di Toro, absolutely precious, sweet Italian heirloom pepper. The fall crop just started coming in, so we should have this at least for another 6 weeks, 6 to 7 weeks. What goes into this recipe? First, I'll start with the Corno di Toro. Real important side note on this: you're going to want to make a lot of extra this because it's so good. Even though it's an ingredient for this recipe together, it's so nice that you're going to want to store some of it in the refrigerator, and then during the week use it to supplement other dishes that you're already making. I mean, it's sky's the limit, really. Pastas, salads, sandwiches, meats. Simple preparation. Take the Corno di Toro, scoop all the seeds out, slice it thin, or just as strips will work too. Throw some extra virgin coconut oil on it, some ghee, sea salt, lime, and tequila. You can do this on the stovetop or the broiling pan. If it goes on the broiling pan, then you're going to want to toss it a couple times to get that liquid to coat this pretty evenly. Let it go until it gets really dark brown and almost starts to dry out a little bit. It's going to get really candy-like. You want the edges to get a little bit crisp if you can. That's going to really bring the texture and the flavor to the level that you want it at. Oh, again, what you want to have in this, David will have this listed as the ingredients. Make sure you have at least 1 medium to large onion chunked up with the Corno di Toro in that preparation. You're doing this separately. The other half is the African butternut squash. Skin it, got it, and then slice it into 1/8 of an inch thickness or thinner strips. You're going to throw in some extra virgin coconut oil again, ghee again, pinch of sea salt, and a sprinkling, just a dusting of chili powder.
Mark, for those who aren't familiar with ghee, what is ghee?
Clarified butter, and the reason why all my recipes basically are going to include ghee and extra virgin coconut oil, or one or the other, because nutrition research on the two items has proven that they're far superior to anything else that's being used now. The omega-6 content is very low to almost non-existent. It aids your metabolism, it aids your digestion. So, even topically, extra virgin coconut oil is a wonderful application for your skin. But that's why I use these. The ghee is, you can find it even at Whole Foods. A lot of grocery stores carry it. It is Indian in origin. It's very common in Indian cooking, but simply it's just clarified butter. It's much more expensive than butter, but the flavor is very, very concentrated. You use far less than you would in butter.
All right, great.
Anyway, so the African butternut squash goes on the broiling pan. Get it real close to that burner. Wanted you to slice it real thick, because what we're going to do is let it go under the burner. You want the outside to become very thoroughly brown and caramelized, but the inside to remain firm, so it's potato-like rather than squash-like. Once that's done, then you take the two, mix them together in a bowl, and that's it. It's going to taste wonderful. It's going to be as satisfying as if they had meat in it, but it doesn't. Again, the whole household got to guinea pigs on this, and everybody loves it. Even people who don't like peppers really enjoyed the Corno di Toro preparation.
This sounds fantastic. Mark, for each of these vegetables, what are the seasons for them? When can we expect to be able to find them at Morningside Farmers Market?
African butternut just started coming in last week. This is a fall squash, so it's a fall squash. So, and with a really long shelf life, once we finish the harvest, you can have these on your kitchen counter for 6 months. I've had one on our kitchen counter for 7 months. And you don't want to let it go that long. If it's holding up and it's not getting soft or rotting, the only thing that will happen when it's on the counter that long is the seeds, in order to stay plump, they will naturally start to cannibalize off of the flesh, and it'll become more hollow so that the seeds can stay viable. But otherwise, the flavor is quite decent, considering it's been on the shelf, on the counter for that long.
And what can you tell us about Morningside Farmers Market and Crystal Organic Farm, where you're a farmer?
Well, Crystal Organic Farm were one of the founding members of this market almost 20 years ago. And Morningside Farmers Market, how we started out and how we have always been, we're 100% certified organic. Every single farmer here, whatever they sell, they got to grow themselves. We cannot go to a wholesaler and buy it organic and then bring it over here. We have to grow it ourselves. So that way you know where it's coming from, who's growing your food. If it's from a wholesaler and you don't know the country of origin, which in most cases they're not going to tell you, but if it's from places like China, it's really iffy on what you're getting in that. And you've heard the reputation of the products that come from there, but very rarely now do people disclose the country of origin for organic. So it's really important that you know who your farmer is and where your food's coming from. The Morningside Farmers Market here in Virginia Highlands, same spot for almost 20 years now. Winter hours are from 8 o'clock to 11:30. The summer hours right now are from 7:30 to 11:30. We do have a room for weather contingencies too. We had that hard winter last year. In the basement downstairs back there, you've got a spot where all the farmers can congregate, and you can all come down there. It's really tight, but it's very pleasant because you're covered from the elements. You can walk around with your coffee, chat with your friends, get food that doesn't become frozen as soon as we open the box. Because if it's 30 degrees outside, we open a box of greens, whether it's kale or anything else. A lot of times it can flash freeze and then it becomes poop.
And every Saturday?
Yeah, every Saturday we're here year round. And
year round, 52 weeks a year.
Yes, 52 weeks a year. Unless the roads are extreme where they're iced over and you can't get here, then we can't get here either. But if we can get here, we've got that room down there. And Farmer's Almanac is fortunately in some ways they're forecasting another hard winter. And that'll be good for some of the things that we do, bad for some things, but overall it's going to have a good bug kill off. We noticed some things really responded well with that weather pattern. So
for people who are new customers coming here for the first time, what's like one suggestion you give for somebody who's visiting for the first time to Morningside Farmers Market?
Go to every single booth here. And you know, in the future, David and I, we're going to be working on trying to give you a video preview on the site so that you don't have to go, you know, scroll down and try to get some history. It saves you time. But and we're going to try to do this in a video in the future. But before we get to that point, go to every booth and you know, find out what everybody does. It's going to have something that's a little bit special for them. Some are going to have a lot more experience. You know, like I said, we're one of the founding members. There's some things that we do that nobody else does here. Dave at DNA Farm. I'm going to be featuring an enhancement to our cream your sauce recipe for the fall, so y'all get ready for that because everybody that's tried this recipe has come back for thirds and fourths. We're going to start including in this recipe, he has a fantastic Berkshire pork, spicy pork sausage that he does, and the marriage between that and the cream your sauce, we've tried it in the past, it's going to be spectacular.
All right, well thank you, Mark.
Thank you, enjoy everybody.